Okay.
Pin away. I saw that.
Yeah. I'm streaming and recording. All right. Welcome to UAT Game Studios Milestone Review. This is our Milestone 1 review for the spring semester of 2019. Take it away, sir.
I know. He's too tall. I'll be the camera guy. Access to that. I know. It's all fancy.
You don't want to be streamed, here you go.
Alright, thank you.
Alright, when your splash page is up, you can go ahead and take the freeze off.
Y'all coming up? All leads?
Well, no, I just gotta put the password in. Okay. Where's it at? Is it modular Japanese building?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Okay.
You gonna lean over or are you gonna...
No, I'm looking for the pick. Does this cycle through? It does. Okay.
Alright. Ready?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is James Fisher. I'm project lead for Life or Death, and welcome online students. Love to have you. You guys are hard workers and crush it. This is some of the art that we were able to get made, but not in the build. So I'm just going to talk over this while talking about how we did. Pretty much this week was, this sprint was a lot of orientation, getting people caught up with the style guides, GDDs, getting everybody connected with Axosoft, our Discord, going over rules, finding meet times for everybody, getting everybody's schedules organized, and fixing a lot of things that went wrong with the GitLab. We were able to fix a lot with the back end and then get some modular artwork in for our designers to be able to build new homes and things such as, building, and that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time. Oh yeah, if you want to play the build, though, we have the build. Come for it.
Oh, okay. Alright, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nathaniel White, and I am project lead for one of our ACS teams. For this semester, we decided to work on a Discord bot, and the premise of our Discord bot is that imagine any other Discord bot you have, like a music bot. Well, our bot will do music just like that music bot, but better. It'll do RNG like an RNG bot, but better. It'll have anything and everything that we can possibly cram into it in one semester. And we'll try to make it as easy to use and essentially better than any other bot that has come before us. So, just going to get straight down to it. The premise of our bot, what makes it so powerful, is completely modular. Any commands that we write, any packages or groups, modular commands, is dynamic. You can dynamically add it and remove it using only commands. So if you wanted to say install the RNG package, our bot would have an RNG package that you could load or unload very easily. This sprint we focused primarily on getting the framework done, so it's extremely easy. You can add a new command in probably 30 seconds if you know what you're doing. That can be instantly loaded in, pushed straight up to the server, and the bot's ready to go and online. So we have a couple commands here. I'm just going to go to devinfo, which is one I threw together just for presentation, so I don't have to make a PowerPoint. No, I can spell, don't worry about it. VCS. My bad. Alright. So we're making pretty good progress. We got in a couple of major commands. We got the modular framework, the ping commands, server-side data persistence, and one of the things that's really cool is the server-side data persistence. So we actually have uat.edu. We already have the server up and running. So this pulls directly from our GitHub. If I, for instance, click update, it will pull from our GitHub, run npm install on its its server, go ahead and set up everything. So essentially the bot is already running in the cloud. It's already modular. The framework's already done. This week I was really impressed by how my team was able to come together, not only learn how to use WebStorm and the JavaScript framework we built for them, but then also get up the server side and the bots up and running. So yeah, really great. Thank you for your time.
There's one more ACS we got.
Yeah, we have 2 ACS.
Yeah.
Oh, there is? Okay, sorry about that.
Wow.
We didn't write it down. Jeez, Dakota.
What? Nope.
Roll my flash drive, okay. I'm
Just gonna throw everything. Don't mind me. Go. It's to motherfucker. Right there.
This one?
That one. It's that one that sounded like death, and it's wonderful. That'll be fine. And pause that.
Yeah.
And show yours first if you'd like.
Alright, hello, I'm Trevor Kennard. I'm the other ACS production leader. What we were working on is a generative adversarial network, which its idea is to take in textures and make them seamless. So what we've done for this semester is, well, this sprint, is to set up 3 prototypes to see what type of system we want to get set up and work on towards that later on. So the one I was working on is just a basic neural network that takes in an image and detects what type of number it is. So that's my prototype number. Let's see if Python can run it. Or not. Come on. Do we have Pytron on this by chance? Do you know? Alright, looks like not. Well, besides that one, we have a video from another prototype, which was done by Zach Thompson.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zach Thompson. I am one of the developers for the project. This is the
Yeah, it's muted right now.
some of the AI code that I have worked on, some of the AI research that I've gone into to help us create this project. This is a very simple machine learning algorithm that helps to scan iris flowers and recognize them. You can see the matrix here that recognizes and gives me percentages based on how similar they are to the training data. This thing also produces various graphs that we will be using to this graph in particular will not really give us anything useful. This just gives us box plots on the pedal lengths. But as we continue with this, we will continue to make more graphs based on what I have asked it to do. The pedal lengths and pedal widths and scale and things like that. Here is a particular graph that I'm going to show you that will help us to really understand what's going on here. This is not that graph, but another graph that we have. designed to do. This is the one I was thinking. Okay. This is this algorithm comparison. It's a few various algorithms that this is going to be going through. We have the logistics regression, the linear discrimination analysis, the nearest neighbor classifier, and the distance tree classifier, as well as the Gaussian. According to this graph, the most effective algorithm for this particular program is a nearest neighbor problem with a 100% classification rate. And with that, that is the end of this time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zach Thompson.
There we go. And then we should have QTs in, right? But it's the document's in the drive, correct?
There's just a video image, screenshot.
Yeah, so...
Hit the little I button. There's some code in there. Should be a paint and I
It's also the Pi file, yeah. Alright, so we also have a basic GUI being walked alongside of the GANs, and this is going to be hooked up later on into our project in the next sprint. So this is just a basic screenshot. Not much going on, just understanding the basics of it. And then this code is, what is it exactly?
It's just PyQt. It allows it to be a full screen GUI.
Okay. So it's the code that associates to the actual Qt window. That's it. Thank you.
I didn't think to check it, so. Yep. Hello everyone, my name is Dakota Stoner. I'm the project lead of Gangs of Graffiti. So, one of the first things that we did, the first Friday after we got all of our teams situated was we all decided to all download the game, join into the same lobby, and see what happened. A lot of things were broken, a lot of things that we didn't expect. So we started figuring out what we got to do, and we've started over this past couple weeks and on. We're going to be working on getting the multiplayer working better, so more optimized, so you can actually join in and see and kill people, and them actually die like on other screens. And when a player gets into a tank, they don't all get into the tank and all of that. Design-wise, we are currently working on 4 different levels. We got the first level, which is the construction site. It is going to be 2 skyscrapers or thereabout. All right, two skyscrapers that it takes place on about 3 different floors, and they'll both be right next to each other, and you'll be able to move from one skyscraper to the other depending on using like zip lines, cannons, elevators, stairs, all that. Next one is a small town. I'm trying to just go for a small kind of construction yard linked to a little tiny town with different buildings and all that for the players to play in. We have 2 other levels that we currently are working on. We have the rail yard, which is going to be a lot more open level. Just it's going to be more have more train cars that you'll be able to tag and all of that, so the players will be able to just fight as fast as they can and all of that. And then we have the Shinkiro Temple. Don't know if I said that right. It's going to be a temple that's located deep within a forest. It's not too far from the Neo Lotus capital. It's going to be taking place inside the temple and have a lot more verticality as well. Next off, we've started working on more art assets. So we have newer building pieces put in. They're a lot more modular. So each of these pieces are its own piece, so the designers will be able to go in. We made a new dumpster and all of that. We're trying to get more of the buildings to be a lot more uniquer, so the players will be able to enjoy without looking at just box after box. And we also worked on getting the third-person player controller to work better, all the way to the first person, so it moves a lot smoother, so the players will be able to enjoy. Thank you.
Alright, so I'm Kyle Davis. I am the project lead for Guardians Legacy, and for our first sprint, first off, we're a new project, so we had a lot to get done. We did a lot of our pre-production planning, and also a few surprises mixed in. So first off, here's some of our pre-production. We started getting what we wanted in the grasp of the world, what we wanted our main hub city for everything that we're going to design around to begin with, along with all of the base intricacies of when you start the game. The next thing we ended up doing was our coders got right to work while we were doing our pre-planning, and we managed to knock out our basic structure for both our enemy AI, our basic combat, and also our movement system. So that was a huge part of getting us ready to move forward in this next sprint. Plans for the future that we are going to have after this point, we're going to be refining our base systems, getting our starting city up and running, along with a little bit of wilderness to show off our enemy AI and everything, along with the enemy AI advancing that, and also our players' stats. Now, for the actual build, we've managed to get our base UI together and be able to get a few different scenes together to show off what we got. We got our basic player in with animations, so it does move around. We need to work a little bit more on this, but overall it is in. We also have a working camera, so this was a main function that we wanted to include, was a camera that rotated around. This way we can actually use this as part of the puzzles within the world of the game. And then also, if you notice that cube is looking at me, that is our basic enemy at this point, and once we walk into it, or it chases us, we then enter into our scene for combat, which works at this point. We have our basic structure ready, and we can even flee from combat. So after this point, it's just going to be getting to work adding in the fun aspect and adding in more content. But so far, we're off to a great start. Thank you.
See if I don't break this. There we go. Hello everybody, my name is Regis Jerry. I'm the project lead for Looters of the Arcane. What I want to bring up first is our changelog. This just, so that I can cover everything that we ended up changing. That way if I end up missing something, we can actually know all the different work that ended up coming in. We didn't actually get any new art assets in at the moment. However, our main focus was working on the player, making the actual gameplay a little bit more smooth. So we ended up redoing the jumping, we ended up redoing the gun animations for it, the positions for the shooting, as well as we made small changes to our movement system. So now we used a slider instead of base number. And we changed the running speed up to 10 because the character is supposed to be a runner, not a fighter. So we figured increasing the speed would end up helping the player to not be afraid of running, which is kind of ironic. In the hub world, we ended up adding some new display cases. This is going to be part of our museum system once we end up getting everything changed around. And then in ancient Greece, we ended up fixing up the terrain to be able to add in new assets, and we also replaced the current false walls that we have in the level with a more difficult to recognize false wall. So this will help in the labyrinth so that as the player is moving through, they can get lost a little bit easier. And then we ended up adding in the sword wall exit locations. They're now going to spawn in when the arcane object gets grabbed. And so let's get... Oh, I need to turn this down really fast. Yeah, so the first thing with this new pistol is we ended up rigging it up the same way with the positioning. So we have the hip fire and then aiming down the sights. And as the player ends up shooting, the muzzle location actually makes it to where you actually will have bullet spread. So if the player is panicking and firing really, really fast, then they're not actually going to hit on target anywhere. And then with our new jumping, I got one of those keyboards. We did also find out it's not a bug, it's a hardware issue. If the keyboard isn't advanced enough, then you can't sprint and jump at the same time. So we need to make sure that we inform players of that. And then this is the spawner for the sword walls. We do have an animation in place, however there is a small bug with it where once you spawn into the level it immediately starts to go down. However, once we end up getting this fixed, then the sword wall will actually be coming down with each individual sword one at a time. And unfortunately, because of this keyboard, I won't be able to be jumping around these buildings. However, with the new player controller, we can actually traverse the terrain a lot easier in the Japanese level. And then, if I go to ancient Greece, I can show you the new false walls that we have. Nope. Yeah, we did also make it to where the player prefab is the same for each level. So if we make a change to the player in any one level, then it's going to change in every level. So we don't need to rig up a new player for each individual level. And if we want to add in something, we have to plug it into every single piece. One of the things that we wanted to focus on, though, is ensuring that as the player is moving through these levels, that they can end up having some sort of stress while also not having. This is one of the false walls. What happens is the player, when they look at it from the other side, you can't see anything. So there's lots of corridors where we end up creating a maze within a maze, so that if the player ends up rounding the corner, they might think that they can't go this way. However, in some of the areas, the player will actually end up getting forced to try to go through the wall, or we have it to where the enemies will come through the wall at them. And because the enemy is actually a solid object in this level, then the player will be able to figure out actually how the walls work. Thank you for your time.
All right, we're still good. Nobody's broken the camera yet, so we're doing well. We're doing well today. All right. Hello, my name is Kylie Atkins, and I am the art lead for Gray Area. And today I will be talking about our first milestone build review. For this first milestone, we began by onboarding our new team, as many of the other teams did, and with that we had most of our artists or actually all of our artists, work on concept art just to familiarize themselves with the premise of the game and all the lore behind it, because it is a very lore-heavy game since we are basing it on real events. Another additional aspect that we did is we were cleaning up our levels the way they're prefabbed, and so this is actually going to help as we change to a different way we are loading our levels. This is going to help loading levels become smoother, and so there's little or no loading time for the user. Additionally, we also had our designers create documentation about the first-time user experience, which is one of our main aspects we plan for this semester. And so we had each of them give their own kind of view on what they think would be the best way to approach this subject. So for our concept art, we have Lauren's Nordic woman, Christian's kind of everyday items, the Army checkpoint made by Stanley Albert, and then a crash site concept by Tyler Harper. And so that's for that. Let me pull up the build real quick. Got one load. Alright, so one of the major things that we're looking at doing this semester is refactoring a lot of the back end of our game. So we have a lot of our code just needs to be gone through and kind of cleaned up, made a little more efficient just so we can build on top of it better. So two of our outside stakeholders, Chase Muldry and Charles Kozar, are going to be working on that for us this semester, and our current programmer on the project, Brant, will be working on the AI system and building on top of that. So overall, that's it. Let me see if Escape's not working here. Takes a second to load, I guess.
Or we broke it again.
Or we broke it again.
Why we need to refactor our code.
Yeah, we're stuck. Yeah, so that's why the code needs to be refactored. But that's what we're working on this semester, so thank you very much.
Oh, Kylie broke the camera.
Oh no, I broke the camera too. We're just breaking everything today.
What's that?
Camera works.
You're recording.
I know, it was doing so good. It just happens once every time. I think it's the computer trying to run everything. It's like,
I would.
Girdles.
By the way,
This stuff's looking good, man. We just found a new friend. I'm always looking for people to talk about it.